if you've been working out for any amount of time, you've likely encountered some amount of plateau, right? Could be dieting, could be training. And if you haven't encountered a plateau yet, I can pretty much guarantee you're going to, as long as you stay working out long enough. So that's why today I want to talk about, what are we talking about today? We're going to talk about breaking through different types of plateaus. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, grab your notebooks. Okay. Class is in session. The professor is here. Please crack a white monster. Let's get it on. Okay. I know what you're thinking about. Who are you, Baldy? Okay. Here's my credentials so you can see there. All right. I think we're good. I've been working out for about 15 years. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about training plateaus. We're going to talk about physique plateaus. This is like your body's not changing, okay? We're talking about weight loss plateaus and weight gain plateaus, okay? So we're going to troubleshoot all those situations, and all four of those different things, I'm going to give you options on how to break through them. Okay, so one of these things are going to work. All right, so if you're encountering some kind of plateau, boom, strap in. Let's go, okay? Because plateaus are like your ex-wife, okay? You know it, never mind. Okay, plateaus. All right, so what's the first kind of plateau? My physique is not changing, okay? And the thing is, your physique should always be doing something, right? Check out this stud down here. All right. 99% of the time, and this is just like an overall, this is a very broad, we're going broad and then really zoning in first. Okay, so overall, my physique is not changing, okay? If your physique isn't changing, isn't doing anything, 99% of the time, it's your diet, okay? Are you a main gainer? Okay, main gaining is just when you don't pay attention to your diet really, or maybe like you try to eat clean, but you don't track, or maybe you're trying to eat more or you're trying to eat less. I have fallen into the main gaining trap for years. So, no shame in it. I'm not throwing out any shade. If you're a main gainer, I'm just saying, you're probably not going to get the results you are hoping for. But the flippity flop of that is, if you just enjoy working out and that's it, then cool. Like no power, all power to you. Like you're set. You're fine. But for everyone else who wants like a little bit more out of it, this is going to be for you. Okay, so physique isn't changing. It's probably something to do with your diet. Do you want to get skinny or do you want to get bigger? Okay, it's probably diet related. It could also be a little rest and recovery, right? So maybe you're like this guy down here. Maybe you're going out and doing a bunch of extracurriculars at night and not resting the way you should. Okay, that's a good possibility. And then maybe kind of last on the list, I think potentially maybe you're just not working out hard enough. Okay, that's sometimes, there are a lot of people that don't really work out with a ton of intensity, but you can get pretty far with, I'm going to be honest, you can get pretty far with not really working out that hard and being really good at dieting. Okay, but you cannot do the opposite. You cannot out-train a really crappy diet, if that makes sense. Like you can't force yourself with just weights to get huge if you eat like a bird. It's not going to happen. The other thing is you got to make sure you're looking at your physique over the right amount of time, right? So like 4 weeks, probably not going to notice anything. 8 weeks, you probably notice some visual differences. If your physique hasn't changed over 6 months, okay, maybe it's time to start diagnosing and looking at a few things. I got a note in here. It's probably not your training split. This is something I see a lot of people do a lot. They get worried, like, oh my split, maybe my split's not right, or it's because I'm doing push pull legs and blah, blah. Your split probably doesn't matter. Okay. You can make just about anything work, probably. Notice how like everyone argues as to like what the right split is. It's because there isn't one, right? So if there was one that worked, there wouldn't be so much argument over it. Okay, what about training plateaus? Are you hitting a training plateau? So first we got to figure out, how do we find out if you're actually hitting a training plateau or not? All right, are you stuck at a certain max weight for more than like 6 to 8 weeks? So you got to think about: are you giving yourself actually? Are you looking at a long enough period of time where it's actually realistic to see some kind of gain, right? So if it's less than like 6 to 8 weeks, that might just not be enough time. If you are at the same weight for 2 weeks in a row, that's not a plateau. Okay, that could be water, stress, sleep, diet. Like it could be like 1,000 other things. But like I said, if you're stuck at the same weight for 2-3 weeks, it's not a plateau. Okay, just keep pressing. No. And you got to think about, what does your diet look like? Okay, are you training hard? So let's look at how to break through those kind of training plateaus. Okay, so some things you might be able to do is switch from high reps to low reps. So if you were previously doing low reps, maybe you do high reps for like 8 weeks. Okay, if you were doing like reps of 5 of everything, do reps of 12 or 16. Okay, you just want to do something that's going to, create like a new muscular adaptation. Another thing you can do to break through a plateau is intentionally try to build a variation exercise. And I have intentionally in all caps here, because let's just look at some of these variations I have on here. So like a slingshot or a close grip bench press. Okay, so let's just say slingshot bench press. When I say intentionally build a variation, I mean, so let's just say a slingshot bench press, which is a slingshot is like a rubber band that it goes over your arms, and there's like a band across the middle, and it takes weight out of the bottom of the rep. Okay, so when I say intentionally, I mean treat that variation as like a main lift. Okay, this variation, this is your new, your new love. Okay, the new love of your life, and you are purposely trying to make this variation stronger. Okay, and by doing so, oftentimes, if you really focus on making that intentionally, that variation stronger, then it'll go back and have some carryover to your other lift. Okay, for me lately, leg press has been a good example. Okay, I intentionally tried to get my leg press stronger. I didn't really do leg press for years. I just don't really like leg press machines. But what I noticed is when I started really building my leg press, really trying on my leg press, I noticed that at the bottom of squats and deadlift, I had a bit more power pushing right out of the bottom. So, right, that's one way you could do it. Another things you could do, again, the slingshot or the close grip bench press, it's going to focus more on your triceps and your lat engagement, and being able to really use your lats and your triceps in unison to really grind out that rep on a bench press. Or you could do banded deadlifts. So this is just there's like an exercise band, and you put it around your feet, and you put the ends of the exercise band around your hands so that there's no tension on the rubber band when the deadlift is down on the ground. And as you pull the bar up, it stretches out the band. Okay, so the higher you get, the more weight you're going to feel. So it's not really any less safe. Well, maybe a little bit, but it's still going to be the same weight off the floor. And then once you get to your knee height, it's really going to ramp up in weight. So if you are having trouble on the lockout in your deadlift, that might be an option for you to do. And then the other thing you want to do is you want to look at the macronutrient split of your diet. By that I mean, are you consuming a lot of just fatty foods, or just not great food in general? Are you getting enough protein, right? Are you getting 1 gram per pound of body weight, which I definitely suggest you should do. And if you haven't done it, just try it for 2 weeks and tell me how it goes. Okay, I know it's hard, but once you figure it out, getting 250 grams of protein is not going to be hard. Once you do it that first little bit, you're like, okay, I can deal with this, right? It's pretty easy. So again, you want to look at the macronutrient split of your diet. So if it's maybe, like I said, if you are doing too much on the fats, maybe pull some of the fats out now and turn up your carbs a lot. Okay, so you want to turn up your carbs really high, or just higher than they were. or just maybe think about going on a calorie surplus or just increasing your overall calories in general. Okay. If you're stuck on the main gaining thing and you really don't want to track your diet, which I think you should, you could do something as simple as just before and just after your workout, get some kind of fast, sugary carbohydrate, right? Could be as easy as a Rice Krispie treat before and after, okay? So before, it's going to, have some carbs in your system, so you can use that as energy during your workout. After, directly after, it's going to have a minimal blood sugar increase and be able to help your body quickly restore that muscle glycogen. Okay, so again, I have a note on here. It's probably not your training split. Okay, there's a lot of other factors. It's probably not your training split. Okay, you probably just need to eat a little more. All right, now we're going to talk about weight loss plateaus. Okay, so you're dieting down, want to get thinner, and now you're having a bit of a plateau problem. And I have a plateau right here that we're going to talk about here in a minute. Okay, so my weight isn't going. These are possible reasons why you might think you're in a weight loss plateau. So my weight isn't going down short period of time. Talking 2 weeks ish, right? I'm not losing fat from the desired areas. Not losing fat from where I want to be losing fat from. Like I don't like the way I look. It's a possibility. Here's another thing. I feel abnormally fatigued in the gym. Like if you get in the gym and you just feel like the workout is an extra bear, like it's just extra hard. Now you're going to be gassed, going to the gym on a diet, but sometimes you get to a point where it's like, extra gassed, right? And then you have another one, weight isn't going down after you've been dieting for a very long period of time and your calories are already pretty low and you're just not going down anymore. And so this is kind of that last situation right here is what happened right here. You can see my weight was going down pretty, wildly for 2 months. And then, everything just kind of stalled out. And so what I did is just took 2 weeks off where I just increased my calories back up to, I think I was like around 2,200. I did that for 2 weeks. And then I came back, cut the calories back down, and the weight loss started right up again. Sometimes I think your body just it just kind of, your metabolism adapts to that lower amount of calories. A big problem I did right here is I cut way too low, too fast. So if you cut real low, I think I just started my cut at 1,700. Like I went from 4,000 to 1,700. And my weight went skyrocketed down, but my strength went down really fast as well. And then when I plateaued, I didn't have anywhere to go because I was already at 1,700 a day, right? Like, what am I going to go down to 1,500? I'm going to wither away and die. Okay, so I pumped the calories back up. And then when I came back down, I was back down to 2,000. So, it was like 2,400 for 2 weeks just to kind of reset everything. And then I went down to 2,000 and I was losing weight again, even though right here at 1,800, I wasn't losing weight because I was just kind of like I just crashed everything. Okay, so here's some potential ways you can break through those weight loss plateaus. So this is for, weight loss isn't going down short period of time, okay? You probably, if it's just over a couple weeks, you probably just need a little more time to be consistent, okay? I would watch your weight over 2 week intervals, and I have that at a minimum, and I use minimum on purpose. I don't think you should look at your weight week to week. I think that's too small of an amount of time because there's going to be a lot of fluctuations with, water, stress, sleep, time of day you're checking your weight. 2 weeks at a minimum, okay? So just keep that in mind. Not losing fat from desired areas. Unfortunately, it seems like for most people, we lose the best fat first and the worst fat last. What do I mean by that? Typically, for me, I lose my fat first from my arms. Okay, as soon as I start cutting, first thing that goes is weight from my arms. So my arms will get really lean, and I'll still have a fat belly. and then the next thing that goes is my legs, right? So now my midsection is still fat, but now I have small arms and legs, right? So I'm like, basically, I want to jump off a bridge, okay? But thing is, you just got to keep pushing, because eventually, your body's going to eat through that leg fat and the arm fat. And now we're going to the other places, okay? So it's going to hit the chest, take some fat out of the chest. It's going to be going for visceral fat, which is the fat around your organs, then your belly fat. And for me, very last is the old love handles back there. Is just the lower stomach and love handles. So a lot of times, if it's like, I'm just not losing fat where I want to lose fat from, you just got to stick to it, and you just got to keep going with it. Unfortunately, you can't do targeted fat loss yet, right now. So you just got to keep getting consistent with it and keep trying to lower your overall body fat percentage. So in that situation that I was talking about earlier, where let's say you're on a diet and you're still losing weight, right? So your weight loss is good, but you're just gassed, right? You're just like, man, cannot barely even get through the workout, want to sleep. What I found worked really well for me is just for one day, over the course of the day, have like 500 calories worth of carbohydrates. Okay, the favorite thing that I used to do is grocery store by us has these, it's like dried mango slices with like sugar on them. It's just straight up sugar, and they're delicious. Okay, they're amazing. It's just dried mango slices and sugar. Yeah, from Vietnam. Just fantastic. So, anyways, I would have like 500 calories of those, and you're not going to gain weight from that. Okay, so even when I did that, I did not. It never caused me to gain any weight, but I did genuinely feel like it just kind of did a quick little jump start, like re-energized me, got everything going again, and kept the fat loss going, and increased my energy levels. So I would give that a try. And even if you did one preemptively before, I would wait till I crashed because I'm an idiot. But if you did one preemptively, every 2 to 3 weeks, and this is not a cheat meal or a cheat day. This is just you're just intentionally increasing, replenishing your muscle glycogen so that you can keep working. Okay, and then, so weight loss, what about weight loss isn't going down? You've been dieting for a long period of time. Okay, this happens to quite a few people, happened to a gentleman I was talking to recently. You have been dieting for a very long time, and your weight loss has just kind of slowed, kind of like what I was talking about earlier, where you're just kind of, can't really go any lower because your intake is already really low. Just it's time to take a little break, okay? And that's fine. Sometimes you just need to take a little metabolic break, let everything reset. Okay, so for 2 to 3 weeks, just go back up to maintenance, or add 1,000 calories a day for like 2-3 weeks, and just kind of let everything jumpstart and get your metabolism going again. And for a lot of people, a lot of times, that is going to help you jumpstart the fat loss. Okay, and then as soon as after that 2 to 3 weeks, after your mini break, go right back into dieting again. Okay, and then another potential possibility for your weight loss, maybe your macro split just is junk, right? So maybe your macro split is just total crap. Make sure you're getting, not crazy on the fats, 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein, and then just fill in the rest with your carbohydrates. And so if you've done all of that, okay, and so you've tried all these things, and notice how many things there is before I do this, right? So you've tried all these things. Next thing you need to do is lower your calories or increase the activity level, okay? So this is kind of going on the whole calories in, calories out thing that I was talking about in a different video, and kind of talk about it a lot. Yes, calories in, calories out, but there's a lot of caveats to that, okay? So you need to be smart about it. Okay, so that is weight loss, okay? What about weight gain plateaus? Okay, I think my weight gain stalled, okay? So we're going to troubleshoot a few different things here. So weight isn't going up for a short period of time. And this is like, over, 3-ish weeks. Okay. Or I'm not gaining in the right areas. My weight isn't going up. This is over a long period of time. And I want to throw up constantly. Okay, so we're going to cover all of these issues. So, and what the heck are you talking about, Frank? You crazy baldy? Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. My weight isn't going up over a short period of time. Okay, so this is something that the gym bros, this is not a fun conversation I like to have, right? Because gym bros will come up to me constantly, and say, "Oh man, I've been dieting, been bulking or trying to bulk for a couple weeks. I bulked for 4 weeks, Frank. I didn't gain 100 pounds. I bulked for 4 whole weeks. Man, 4 weeks is not enough time, brother. Okay, it's not enough time. 4 weeks is just the amount of time that I take to transition from cutting into bulking, right? That's me just going into the spin up time, right? So if it's your first go at it ever, like if it's your first go at dieting and you say, man, I've been locked in for 4 weeks, good. That is good. Good on you. Truly. Keep pushing. But just know that, 4 weeks, like that's our warm up, big dog. Okay. That's the warm up. It's time to pump up the jam. Okay. What about I'm not gaining weight in the right areas? So this would be like, think you are bulking, but you feel like you're not really getting any stronger, and maybe you're just gaining fat. Okay, so this would be, think about a situation. So you're bulking, right? We want to increase muscular gains to the maximum extent possible, and we want to minimize fat reduction to the greatest extent possible. Okay, well, when you eat fat, your body converts it into fat and stores it as fat. Crazy. Your body can do other things with it too, but just think about how easy it is for your body to turn fat into fat. It doesn't have to work very hard. Okay, are you picking up what I'm putting down? On the other hand, eating protein, eating a lot of protein, you can get energy from that. You can rebuild your muscles, grow muscle tissue. Your body can turn protein into fat, but it has to work a lot harder to transfer that protein into fat. Okay, so let's just say 100 calories of protein, right? So in 100 calories of protein, if your body was going to turn that into fat, just by nature of having to do the conversion process, it's going to burn some of those calories just in converting it. Okay, but if you take 100 calories of fat and your body wants to store it as fat, it doesn't need to burn a whole lot of calories to turn it into fat, right? Because it's already fat. We're just going to store it away. Easy. So just things to think about. Okay, so maybe it's your nutrition. Maybe your macros suck. You might need a little more protein. I used to think the whole 1 gram per pound of body weight thing was totally fake until I tried it. And let me tell you, major difference. Huge difference. I went from averaging like 130 grams of protein per day to 240, 250. So I go more than 1 pound or more than 1 gram. And that's just the amount that I like. But huge difference. Okay. So your weight isn't okay. So what about my weight isn't going up and it's been like 3 to 4 weeks? I feel like my weight should be going up. There's 2 things that could be happening there. For some reason, when you're gaining weight, I have these sticking points, and for me it's right at just below the 200 pound mark. Okay, and it happens every time that I'm coming up to 200 pounds. And this is what happened in this previous slide right here. I just stuck there for 4 weeks at 196, just like 3.5, 4 weeks. Stuck right at 196. And it happened the last time I was going up to 200 as well. Just before 200, I just got stuck, right? It didn't make any sense. and I didn't change anything. And I just like I didn't change anything. I just kept going because I didn't really want to turn up anymore. Just kind of wanted to see what would happen. And it just kind of like pushed through both times. And then I just started going back up like normal. Like if you look at this graph over here, like my weight was going up, and then, I was just stuck, and I started going up again. I didn't change anything in here, which is crazy. And like I said, this exact same thing happened the last time I was coming up to this weight. I was ramping up, and then I just stalled, and then ramping up again. So I think there's some kind of other factor that actually plays more, that actually does a lot more than maybe we give it credit for. I think there's a big anxiety factor there. I think that's possible. Like maybe it's a stress/anxiety thing where it's like, I want to reach 200 so bad, right? And it's just like, I'm almost kind of forcing it. But once I get to the point where I'm just like, oh, you know what, screw it. I'm tired of this nonsense. I don't even care if I get 200. Boom. Then the weight gain happens again, and we're cruising. So I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. So just so you know, that could happen to you. It could be just a sticking point. And if, you keep cruising and past 4 weeks, you're like 6 weeks, nothing's changing, it might be just time to increase your calories a little bit. Okay, it might be time to just turn up the jam. All right, and what about the last one on here? You've been bulking for a very long time. And this is one of the big reasons why I stopped my last bulk, because I wanted to throw up constantly. Like literally, I would wake up in the middle of the night with the sudden urge to vomit. And, it's possibly because I was making a 1,000 calorie milkshake, like an hour before bed. But I was committed, right? So I was like committed to the calories. But I was just fat. I was breathing heavy and just like felt like crap, sleeping bad. And woke up in the middle of the night one too many times, like getting ready to yak, like milkshake all over the bed. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time to take a little break. So if you've been bulking for a really long time, it might be time, but when I say a really long time, I mean like a year or more. So if you've been going ham for a really long time, it might be time just to take a break and do another metabolic reset similar to the weight loss one, where you take 12 weeks or 10 weeks, 8 weeks, and you cut a little bit, okay? Let everything reset. Get rid of some of those easy kill fat stores. Like, when you've been ramping up that long, once you transition immediately back into the dieting phase, your body is going to be ripping and roaring to go after some fat cells. Okay, so you're going to like take down the easy ones quick. And then, once you get, go that route for a little bit, either keep going and get super shredded, or turn the calories back on and get bulking again. Okay. All right. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. If you did, let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.